They just fade away. No big announcement. But her show was humiliated globally. It got review bombed everywhere. And then Disney unceremoniously axed it. They just cut it off. This was a signal that Disney is finally scared of the anti-woke wallet. They're finally realizing that fans will stop watching if you don't give them what they actually want. And speaking of karma coming full circle, let me tell you about Megan Rapinoe's career ending. This one feels like it was written by a screenwriter. Megan became famous for kneeling during the national anthem and demanding equal pay, even though the contract details were way more complicated than she made them sound. But here's where the poetic justice comes in. Her career ended in what her critics call a perfect karma moment. She missed a crucial penalty kick in the World Cup that eliminated the United States from the tournament. Then in her final retirement match, the very last game of her career, she tore her Achilles tendon. And after her injury, she made a statement that sparked a massive new wave of backlash. She said, and I quote, "If there was a God, this is proof there isn't." So instead of going out with glory, with celebration, with a fairy tale ending, she went out with a loss, an injury, and bitterness. That's how her career ended. Now let's talk about corporate influencer karma, because this affects more than just movies. Let's talk about Dylan Mulvaney. You probably remember the Days of Girlhood series and that infamous Bud Light partnership that absolutely blew up the internet, right? Well, here's what's happened since then. Dylan has struggled big time to transition from being a TikTok star to becoming a legitimate Hollywood actress. Bud Light lost billions of dollars after that partnership. Billions. And Dylan even admitted publicly to feeling abandoned by the brand after all the backlash hit. While Dylan is still famous and still has a following, the reality is that Dylan is now seen as radioactive for major brands. No big company wants to touch that situation again. The pivot to writing a memoir called Paper Doll in 2025 and trying to break into theater instead of getting big brand deals suggests a retreat from mainstream corporate partnerships because companies are absolutely terrified of the Bud Light effect. They don't want to lose billions. They saw what happened, and they're staying away. And finally, let's talk about Blake Lively because, oh my god, this one is messy. This situation has everything. Hypocrisy, mean girl behavior, legal battles, and a full public meltdown. So, here's what happened. Blake marketed her movie It Ends With Us, which is literally about domestic violence and abuse, as a fun girls' night out romantic comedy. In promo videos, she breezily said things like, "Grab your friends, wear your florals, and head out to see it." She completely ignored that the movie shows a woman getting beaten by her husband. This isn't a fun rom-com. This is a serious, dark story about abuse. But it gets worse. She tried to use the movie's press tour to launch her new hair care line called Blake Brown and to sell her alcohol brand called Betty Booze. People found this absolutely disgusting given the movie's heavy themes of domestic violence and trauma. Like, read the room, Blake. Once the backlash started, the internet did what the internet does best. They started digging, and they found an old interview from 2016 where she was incredibly rude to a reporter.
Will you play Caps? Will you play Marvel? I don't know. Does anyone want me to do it again? No, Marvel. I don't know. I really don't know. I don't have the answer to that.
Now what you just saw right there was Brie Larson answering how long would she play Captain Marvel, in which she gave a very honest answer saying I don't know because people really don't want me. And it's sad that this is actually how she feels. Listen, I'm not the biggest fan of the Captain Marvel movie, not because of her by any means, but people shouldn't be hating on an actress for a movie that they don't like. Nothing in Captain Marvel is Brie Larson's fault. She's an actress. She doesn't deserve hate over a fictional character. Frankly, I find it pathetic how people go out of their way to hate on Brie Larson. She loves the fans that care about her. But of course she doesn't want to be in something for a long time if people don't want her. It's a shame that she feels this way because she's a fantastic actress. Just watch Room if you don't believe me. Honestly, I think the Marvels is going to be amazing.
The reporter said to Blake, "First of all, congrats on your little bump," referring to Blake's pregnancy. And Blake, in this mocking mean tone, replied, "Congrats on your little bump." The problem was the reporter wasn't pregnant. And the really sad part is that interviewer had problems with giving birth to a baby. She had fertility issues, and Blake just made fun of her on camera. This confirmed for everyone watching that the Sweet America's sweetheart persona was completely fake. She was actually a bully, a mean girl. But here's the twist that makes this whole situation even crazier. The internet overwhelmingly sided with her male co-star and director, Justin Baldoni. Let that sink in for a second. In a movie about domestic violence, where you'd think people would automatically side with the woman, everyone sided with the man instead.
Congrats on your little bump.
Congrats on your little bump. What about my bump?
Reports leaked that Blake tried to get Justin Baldoni fired from his own movie. His own movie that he was directing. She apparently took creative control to make the film prettier and less dark, less serious about the actual subject of domestic abuse. Instead of being seen as a powerful woman standing up for herself, she was seen as a privileged bully who used her husband, Ryan Reynolds, to steamroll a director who actually cared about treating the domestic violence subject matter with respect. So, here's how the legal battle went down. Blake claimed that all the mean things people were saying about her online were part of an alleged smear campaign that Justin Baldoni organized against her. She said he harassed her on the movie set and made her uncomfortable. But Justin said, "No way. That's not what happened at all." He said she was a nightmare to work with and that she and her husband Ryan Reynolds, tried to hijack his movie and take it over. Blake thought she had a gotcha moment when she released text messages from Justin's team to the public. But then Justin released the full thread of messages and showed that Blake had manipulated the text messages and taken them out of context to make herself look like the victim. Then he released her text messages, and that's where things got really weird. We learned that Blake called herself a Casey, like from Game of Thrones. And she said that Taylor Swift and Ryan Reynolds are her dragons who protect her and fight for her. I mean, you literally cannot make this stuff up. So far, pretty much everyone in Hollywood seems to be distancing themselves from Blake. No one's coming to her defense. Well, except for one person. Amber Heard spoke out in her defense. Yeah, that didn't exactly help Blake's case, if you know what I mean. As of late 2025, the legal battle between Blake and Justin has escalated big time, and there's a trial set for 2026. Her hair care line launch was completely overshadowed by all the hate and backlash. And unlike Rachel Zegler, who keeps posting on social media like nothing happened, Blake Lively has completely gone into hiding. Radio silence. Her strategy is clearly to disappear and stay quiet until people forget about all of this. She's hoping the whole thing just blows over. But that strategy proves she can't handle the heat that she created for herself. She even wanted the judge to give her Justin Baldwin's phone records to help prove her case. But unfortunately for her, the judge did not grant her that favor and basically sent her back to the drawing board. At this point, it's just one big game of cheap shots and legal moves. And we've got about a year until this whole thing goes to trial. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens. So there you have it, guys. That's what really happened to Hollywood's most woke celebrities. From box office bombs that lost hundreds of millions of dollars to legal battles playing out in public to hiding out in theater productions far away from mainstream audiences, karma really did come for these people. The pattern is clear. When you insult your fans, when you make everything about politics instead of entertainment, when you forget that audiences are the ones buying the tickets, eventually they stop showing up. And Hollywood is finally starting to learn that lesson. Now, I want to hear from you. Which celebrity downfall shocked you the most? Was it Rachel's Snow White disaster, Bree's $900 million drop, or Blake's entire legal mess? Drop your thoughts in the comments below because I genuinely want to know what you think about all this. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.